It makes it good to say that sometimes poor people are not afraid of dying, but the rich are afraid of dying. Hi there, my name is Benjamin. Welcome to day 3 of my review on the Billionaire book, Making It Big by Femi Otedola. It's been a wonderful journey, and let's delve into it. This is lesson 2. Lead from the front and take a seat behind, or take a back seat afterwards, and you're going to enjoy this one. Now, as you can see that we're making progress, right? So from chapter 1, from lesson 1 to lesson 2, where he began to explain about his business. Now he's not doing the oil business proper, but there are 2 lessons you learn from this place. One, personally, is the ability to drive your business by yourself. As a business owner, you must develop that ability. One of the things Femi Otedola highlighted in this book is that he was always at the front. He'll wake up by 5 a.m., leave his house, and he'll be at the office before 6:30 for a business that's supposed to resume by 8. He'll stay up till 9 p.m. From 9 p.m., he'll go to his ports and ensure that everything is working. I mean, that was a very good trait for him until things went sour. But you must know that the doggedity he put in at the beginning phase of his oil and gas business is something that is very, very admirable. And with time going forward, it attracted more favors to him. Remember, in lesson 1, he showed us how he started the business. In lesson 2, he showed us how he scaled the business. Now, there was this guy in lesson 2 he was trying to connect with. Now, this time around in lesson 3, he's beginning to do business with this guy. And don't forget that the supply chain was not as much as the demand. So he was in the middle of heavy demand and he needed to bridge the gap for supply. So this guy was always enthusiastic, was always dogged. He's up and doing, business is booming, everything is working. He's on a flight to Abuja, from flight to Abuja at a point, because he needed to be closer to these NNPC guys, to the government, of course. And the government is at the Federal Capital Territory, which is Abuja, and he was residing at Lagos at the time. So once in a while, Ode would tell him, we have a meeting in Abuja, be there. So he would always give an excuse. You can, don't forget, Femi is a rich guy already. So one of the things he said in this lesson 3 that is very funny was that he didn't want to enter a local flight, because at that point he was already worth more than $100 million. And before then, he was not afraid of his life, but right now he was concerned about his life. I mean, what if plane crash? And it makes it good to say that sometimes poor people are not afraid of dying, but the rich are afraid of dying. So having all of these whole thoughts about dying, he would always postpone his meeting with his guy, and it was a little bit of a friction because majority of the suppliers were in Lagos. So he took a bold step, and after he was invited for one day, he went. He couldn't climb the plane because it was a local flight. He had to leave the plane and go to Abuja by road. Same thing happened the following time, until he just thought to himself, what if I make a residence in Abuja? And that was when he got his first house in Abuja for $2 million. And he stepped forward ahead of his competitors, which were in Lagos. Those guys, they were only going to Abuja, let's say once in a month or once in 2 months. But him, anytime he goes to Abuja, he will stay for some weeks so that he can connect with the big guys at the top. He was always leading. Basically, this business was running on his instincts, on his strength, on his business acumen. But it takes more than just your strength to scale through or to stay relevant at that top, according to what he said. This was when he found out that no, he cannot continue like this. So he had to look for a CEO and began to put structures in that business. And one of the lessons I learned from this particular chapter is that it's okay to start small, but as you are growing, you must give room for expansion. And giving room for expansion means that you are going to accommodate things that you wouldn't like, as long as it works for the business, because the business will no longer be answering I. The business has to answer we. It becomes a body whereby the business becomes bigger than you, such that in case you die, the business can even continue At a point, he said that if he had died at that point, when the business rebranded, the business would have scaled even much more. All those things were good traits, but not at a particular level. Now, you must learn that at a particular level, some of the things that brought you thus far has to be left so that you can rebrand and reinvent yourself. For instance, in the book, he always woke up very early, going to work very early. That's a very good thing for a CEO to do. But at that level, that was not necessary. All he needed to do was to now sit at the management level, at the top of leadership, to oversee what is going on, not someone running early in the morning to go and carry the gallon, to go and look for fuel, to go and attend to this, attend to that. So letting some things go doesn't mean you've changed. Femi Otedola migrated from different characters to different characters. Before you, in lesson 2, he was called a sleeping person by his daughter. His daughter called his occupation sleeping. And in this book, from these lessons, which is leading from the front, then taking a seat behind, tells us that it's good to start with all the energy, run it, be committed, be dogged about it, but at a point you need to come out from that point and begin to walk on a plane to see the advantage and disadvantage of what you are doing and begin to set your structures in place. Otherwise, your business is going to come crashing. I'll see you tomorrow on the next lesson in day 4. Thank you.